Hello and welcome to Run Testers. My name's Nick and this is our first run review of the Mount to Coast R1. So the Mount to Coast R1 is a new shoe, entirely new shoe and brand to me. This is a running shoe that is designed for road ultras in particular, but has a lot of properties for that also make it seem like quite an attractive and versatile lightweight daily trainer. It costs $160 in the US, doesn't have a UK price at the moment. It weighs in at 254 grams or 9 ounces in a UK 8.5 or a US 9.5. It has an 8mm drop with a stack height of 35mm at the heel and 27mm at the forefoot. So as mentioned, the Mount to Coast R1 is designed for road running, ultramarathons or indeed multi-stage events, and the key to its performance for that is that it has a midsole that is designed to remain consistent and comfortable over the course of those very long events and deliver the same kind of bounce and protection throughout them rather than compressing or losing some of its properties over the course of that long period. The midsole is made mainly from this light cell foam, which is a nitrogen-infused PEBA foam, but it also has the zero sag insert, which you can see named on the side there, and it shows on the bottom of the shoe. This is the key element of the midsole when it comes to retaining the kind of consistency and bounce over the course of a longer event. And the shoe also has geometry designed to help with that. It's called a Go Flow setup. It's not exactly a pronounced rocker on the shoe, but nevertheless it's designed to ease you from your heel onto your toe and to create a nice smooth running experience. Another interesting feature of the shoe is it's got this tuned fit dual lacing system. So you can see the first few eyelets have regular laces which you can use to get a nice secure lockdown around the heel and collar of the shoe. And then you have this quick lace system at the bottom which allows you to tighten and loosen almost the forefoot lacing area very quickly and easily. Idea being here that this will help to accommodate feet as they swell over the course of a long ultra and allow you to loosen that area while still having that secure fit at the top of the shoe. It's a double layered jacquard upper with a fair amount of cushioning at the back, and on the tongue of the shoe there's also a fairly significant heel counter there to add some structure and support there. Then you have a very lightweight outsole material with this pattern on it that does give you a little bit of grip and stuff like that. Now this material can squeak a bit on wet surfaces or wooden floors walking around the house. I've noticed it squeaking already, and Mount to Coast say that there will be another version of the shoe coming later this year with a rubber outsole if that is something that bothers you, because that won't squeak. So when it comes to fit, I've got a UK 8.5, which is a US 9.5 in the Mount to Coast R1. That's the smaller of the two sizes I tend to regularly use with running shoes, and it has fit me pretty well. I think I'd also been okay in my more normal UK 9, so I do think it's a shoe that will work well in your normal running shoe size. Got enough room around the toes, good hold around the heel and midfoot. Obviously got this very interesting lacing system, with the idea being that you can expand the forefoot of the shoe or tighten it without affecting the lacing at the back of the shoe. Not really something I had to use on my first run, which was just an hour, but certainly I think something that could be interesting over those very long distances in particular, and it certainly doesn't take anything away from the fit while hopefully adding a bit more flexibility for people who need it. So I'm not an ultra runner myself. I did run my first ultra last year, but I'm back on the roads this year, and it's unlikely I'm going to get to any runs of that distance in this shoe, but I will say all the properties that they talk about with the design and the key features of it all sound very appealing as just a lightweight daily trainer as well. And I did use it for some daily training yesterday, doing an hour run, easy to steady, so working from around 4:30 per k pace down to around 3:45 per k pace. I did that actually as a commute in the morning, so I had a backpack on, fairly heavy backpack with a laptop, running on pretty flat terrain though for the most part. And I have to say I did really enjoy the shoe. It's softer than I expected, certainly. Like when you talk about things like resilience and consistency in foams, often that means with PEBA foams in particular, they feel a bit firmer than some of the really squishy PEBA foams out there. And this is not a really squishy foam, but it is pretty comfortable and it is certainly quite soft underfoot. You get a little bit of bounce back, but it's not a particularly springy feeling underfoot. It's just got that nice level of softness and cushioning to not feel harsh, and then a level of response and bounce back that just helps you tick along as well. I also found the ride was a bit smoother than I expected, given that it's not a very rocketed shoe. I do tend to really enjoy rocket shoes, but this had a nice kind of turnover to it. It did tick along nicely at a range of paces, and moving through the gears felt pretty comfortable in the shoe. It's not as light as something like the New Balance Rebel V4, but it feels very light on the foot. Certainly it doesn't feel like it's going to stand in your way if you're going to go and run fast, and it has a nice consistent feel actually as you move through the paces. So it felt very similar when I was ticking along at an easy pace to how it felt at the end when I'd move through the gears a little bit. Enough cushioning under the forefoot to not have any kind of harshness or anything like that, even though it's not a maxed out shoe. So all round, just really enjoyed it on that first run. I do think it is very much a shoe that feels light and natural on the foot, disappears on the foot, and just lets you get on with your run, and it can handle quite a wide range of paces, or certainly seemed to on that first run there today. I'm not sure if it's necessarily built to go to very fast paces, but for that easy to steady range where you'd expect to be on very long events for sure, it did work really well for them. So yeah, all round a very enjoyable first run, especially as it was a commute run, which is not my favourite kind of run, running with a backpack, but yeah, it did feel really good underfoot, and I'm looking forward to running in the shoe again. So early days with the Mount to Coast R1, but I do think it's a really accomplished shoe, and it's a surprisingly accomplished shoe given that it is a fairly new shoe company. Often it takes a while to maybe tweak materials, tweak shoe designs to really get something that works together on the foot. But straight out of the gate, this is the first shoe I've tested from this brand, and it does feel really good on the foot. It's got a comfortable feel, but a really lightweight feel. Feels very natural on the foot, and reminds me certainly of some of the other really good kind of lightweight daily trainers we have out there at the moment, things like the Hoka Max 6 in particular, with that nice level of firmness that's still very comfortable but gives you a platform to push against to run a bit faster, a lightweight design all round. You've got some interesting features here with this upper and the squeaky outsole, but all round I have enjoyed it so far. It's not as soft as some other shoes in this area. Something like the New Balance Rebel would have a bit more kind of squish to it if you're looking for that kind of feeling, but it certainly isn't harsh or as firm as I thought it might be when I was looking at the specs and the kind of the overall impression of the shoe I got from reading about it. Actually, it is a pretty soft shoe in a good way, but there is still that resilience there to push back against. So yeah, lots more testing to do, but an encouraging first run out in this. It's always hard for a brand to break through, and the price point of $160, don't know how it will convert in the UK, for a shoe that's described in a very specialist way, will make it a bit harder, I think, for the Road to Trail R1. But actually, the properties that make it this road running ultra shoe actually make it, like I say, a very enjoyable daily trainer. But the price does still remain something that will be a bit off-putting if you can look at a shoe like the Hoka Max 6 for less, the New Balance Rebel for less. Those are established, very good, popular shoes, and popular for a reason. They're really, really good shoes. But if you put price aside, if this shoe can compete with them on performance, then it's a very, very encouraging sign for a new brand out of the gate, I'd say. So that's our first look at the Mount to Coast R1. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Please do like and subscribe, ring the little bell, and we'll see you next time.